Okay, hello everybody. I want to see if you can hear me. And in order to start this webinar, if you're ready to, please put me in the Q&A or the chat score if you are there. Perfect, 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 perfect. Then we are ready to start and we're ready to go. Exactly. Well, first of all, my name is Jaime Tacher. I'm a lawyer. I'm 47 years old, and one of my hobbies, now it's a passion, is to do these webinars and to help other people with the Spooky2 software and Spooky2 hardware. I ended up knowing this software and hardware because of different situations that were not particularly good for me. My wife had cancer, and sadly, at the end of the journey, I knew Spooky. I didn't knew Spooky before, and I arrived a little later to the point where I can help her. So she sadly passed away. However, one of her wishes was to help other people with Spooky or the other people that has these issues that are really, really bad. I don't want anybody to happen or to be in the situation I was or my wife was. So that's why I'm doing this, basically. So this is why I'm here with you guys, okay? So feel free to ask anything. This webinar is a little bit of general questions, and all these questions that have been on the previous webinars that I gave and other Spooky2 trainers have done in the past. And also a small talk about how this works with you, okay? Well, so that's me. Obviously there, you can see me. Let me put this here. Next, we're going to go to start. So we're going to talk a little about Dr. Royal Raymond Rife. He obviously is the founder of all this. He was a scientist born in 1888 and died in 1971. He studied in Johns Hopkins, and he developed the Rife technology that we commonly know today. He was very good at optics. He actually that was his main work before doing anything of this: electronics, radiochemistry, biochemistry, ballistics, and aviation. So this guy was really a genius. He was really, really smart. He received 14 major awards and honors, and he got graduated as honorary doctorate by the University of Heidelberg for his work. He invented the greatest microscope, analog microscope that the human has ever known, because he had the dream to be the first person to be alive to watch a pathogen living. Before that, that was totally out of this world. Nobody can do that. And he used light in this microscope, so the microbes were stained in its natural color. And then when he turned the lights, he zapped these microbes with some different frequencies. And that was actually the start of these Rife machines. So these are more pictures. You can see what he was showing at that time. Just to let you know, right now, it's very difficult to see these pathogens alive. And we have technology that was way out of his dreams, no? Now, between 1921 and 1922, he built the first machine capable of delivering these electromagnetic frequencies. This was called the Rife Ray #1. If you later want to study about more Dr. Rife and all his projects, you will see he numbered them like Ray beam #1, Ray beam #2, 3, and so on. That's the way he named these machines. Rife discovered that this simple electromagnetic wave was not enough to destroy the microorganisms, but the radio frequency wave was really accepted by the body, and it was emitted by a gas within a glass tube. That is why when you see these Rife machines, you see a glass tube there that we call the phanotron tube, or this the plain tube, which is basically a gas, a noble gas like argon, that when you put a frequency there or electricity, this gas has the ability to start to broadcasting this frequency through the air. It's basically you have a small AM or FM antenna in your house that's broadcasting this. If you think at that time in 1971 was really, really impressive, this job, because there was no way to broadcast anything in the air unless you were a radio company. Right nowadays, people usually get like very, they start to thinking a lot when you say about broadcasting something in the air, but we have broadcast frequencies all the time. I mean, your Wi-Fi is basically that, same as your microwave oven, your cellular phone. So you have all these frequencies all the time on and on and on, 24/7. But at that time was really, really unbelievable to do something like that. Now, with this frequency, Dr. Rife found out that he could destroy or kill some organisms, and these frequencies were called mortal oscillatory rate. That's basically. Now, this important principle here that I will take in some minutes is called resonance. That's basically the principle that we use here in order not only to broadcast the frequencies, it's basically the frequency, the first way that our body receives those frequencies by resonance. Okay, now, his work was based on a principle called coordinative resonance. To explain this principle, one could take as an example that two tuning forks set on an absolute value. You can put whatever note you want there. At the moment one is stimulated, the other one resound. They start copying their sound from one to another. He thought, therefore, that with the simulation of an electric frequency able to pass through the tissue of the body, it was possible to devitalize a bacterium without damaging any way the organs or the cells invested, which instead have much higher resonance frequencies. Dr. Rife considered a disease could be cured when he could destroy a microorganism 10 consecutive times using a more. According to his surviving records, he determined that the more for at least 24 microorganisms, including tuberculosis, anthrax, cholera, tetanus, B. coli, influenza, spinal meningitis, pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, leprosy, streptococcus, conjunctivitis, bubonic plague, staphylococcus, diphtheria, and thyroid, and as well as cancer. That's very important because those frequencies, when you see the software, you will see, call them BX and BY. BX and BY are basically the cancer frequencies. So that's basically how this works. If somebody asks you, hey, it's possible to get cure from this, why is that? Because of this principle. What we are trying to do is to basically copy the frequency that's being reproduced on the outside, pass it through the body, and reach the microorganism that's creating the problem, the pathogen, the bacteria, the virus, the fungus, and make him resonance to the same frequency until he explodes. What's going to happen to our cells? Well, our cells need a higher frequency to do that. The machines are not capable to doing that, but of course, there are other machines that can do it. If you ever had a patient with radiotherapy and they're going through cancer, basically the radiotherapy is the same stuff. They are using a very high frequency to burn everything in their path. Of course, that's an indiscriminated way of sending these frequencies. We are sending these frequencies in a totally known way without harming any part of our body. Please tell me so far if you are getting everything, if I'm going too fast or you're understanding everything. Just put it on the chat if you can. Oh, perfect. Okay. Now, this is important because biofeedback. Based on the principle of coordinative resonance, everything living vibrates at some frequency. matching this frequency is the most important thing to heal or kill this pathogen or heal our body. Now, sometimes we know these frequencies, sometimes we doesn't. And a frequency has something really important. It's not always the same frequency for a person. That's why there's a biofeedback. So the identification of these frequencies needed by the body is the main task. But once identified these frequencies, we can set this feedback into our body, allow the body to balance to start. This process is known as biofeedback. This is very important because when you buy a generator X Pro, GX Pro, you usually try to use the biofeedback like a diagnostic tool. That's not the biofeedback. The biofeedback is not a diagnostic tool. The biofeedback is a tool that will help to find the body frequency. If you see Mr. John White's videos, you will see that he called like an onion, like peeling an onion. You are peeling layer by layer. This means that when you do a biofeedback, you will not find, or maybe you, but chances are you're not going to find the right solution for your problem. Why? Because the body is very smart. And sometimes the body starts to scream out the frequencies that you need the most or the fastest, that are not usually or are not sometimes the frequencies you want to find. So let me put an example. Imagine you have diabetes, which is a very bad illness. And at that moment, you are going in the street, you fell down and you hit your knee really hard. For your body, probably it's going to be more important the pain in the knee than the diabetes, because maybe your body is already used to have the diabetes in your body, the knee is not making you walk correctly all the time, you're having a knee swelling, so all these will make the knee more important than diabetes. So if you go to a biofeedback, chances are you are going to find frequencies for healing a bone maybe, or healing faster, or for your, I don't know, whatever else that's going to be needed for your knee and not maybe for the diabetes. So that's the way it's going to work, the biofeedback. So you need to do it over and over and over and over until these frequencies are being found. Also, when you use the biofeedback, please, 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 this is very important. Do not understand what you get as a result as a diagnostic, because it's not. It's just basically a database that's made in a cross-reference when you find a frequency, and that frequency is being matched to several diseases. But that doesn't mean you have any of those. Not one. It means you don't have any, or maybe two, or maybe three, or maybe none, okay? So what this is telling you is that that frequency is used to heal or kill that disease, but that doesn't mean you have anything. So the best way to understand about feedback is when you do biofeedback, you're getting just the frequencies that are important for your body. That doesn't mean you have that illness. Okay? So far, so good? Please, all the questions you have, keep posting them. I'm going to try to answer all of them as fast as I put. Okay, just see here, says Jacqueline, was your clinic healing a clinic in Mexico? Yes, my clinic is for that. I was told that the original microscope made by Dr. Rife were destroyed or stolen. There are a lot of stories there. I don't know which one is true or not, but so far I believe they were destroyed. Fred Harris, question, Jaime. In the past presentation, I saw that you were keeping all past fingernails from mother, just family. Why? Okay, the fingernails contain I believe the word in English will be keratin. That's covering the DNA of you or your family or whatever. So they will last for years. It's better to have fresh nail. Yes, it is. But if you don't, that will make no problem. If you cannot have any fresh nail, you can continue using your nails and you will have no troubles at all. Sorry. Somebody went through the past, don't worry. Now says, what should I DHL do? Okay, Elaine, you need to go directly to the support part. How do the frequencies work on males? I understand they only kill living organisms. So far, yes, they will do, unless you have a higher frequency. Okay, so let me continue with the presentation. So this is a very important photo in the history of Royal Rife. This was a very important meeting when after Dr. Royal Rife healed some patients of terminal cancer that nobody believed he was going to do. Suddenly, all the doctors start to calling him and make this wonderful dinner, which they call the cure of all diseases. It's very sad. Just for the story, you can see my webinar about Royal Rife. You will see that after all these persons you see here in this photo, when the trial starts, they basically claim that none of them knew Mr. Royal Rife. It's just insane how politics work, but that's the way it worked. Now, this is a prototype of the machine number 3 that he used in 1934. You will see it was very bulky, but at that time was the only way to produce this type of technology, okay? Let me see if there's another question here. When I run the remote, how many rounds? Okay, I will cover that in a second. Okay, metal detoxify and clarify. Yes, you can run frequencies to detox from metals, because you are not attacking the metals. You're attacking your body to detox. Okay, that's totally different. Now, it is normal while you're undergoing the terrain to experience aches and pains. Yes, that's called a Herxheimer reaction. Also, I talk about it in my webinar of terrain. You can watch it out to see what's there. Now, says another one, I have a situation in HERT. I have been using Spooky2 only in remote setting because that is why the manual says. Okay, when you have HERT conditions, you can use remote, and also you can use plasma, and you can use a Scalar. That's basically the best way to do something with remote. Okay, now you can see here, that's a room that were used to treat people with the previous machines. This is a little of history, so you can understand what we're having. Now this is the same part as I talked before. I told you that every cell has a frequency. 6 cells have a lower frequency than healthy cells. When the right frequency matches the frequency of the 6th cell, it resonates this cell until it explodes, basically. Then, along with the herbs and diet, the liver and kidneys are detoxed. This is also when you feel sick because of a Herxheimer reaction. The Rife instrument, along with the diet, assures that no recurrence of any disease. This instrument will attack any foreign virus within the body. We can provide you with the list of all the frequencies that match various diseases. That's why it's so important, the Spooky2 software is so important, because it's the biggest database that I know. It has more than 65,000 of different frequencies. So there is no bigger than this stuff ever. Okay. Now, now I go to, this is a very important phrase. I love Dr. Rife. It says, having spent every dime I earned in my research for the benefit of mankind, I have ended up as a pauper. Boy, I achieved the impossible and I will do it again. So you can see this, it's just a very impressive part of Dr. Rife. It's a very impressive part of how human he was. So you can feel like very honored to using his technology, his science, and you can see this, how kind it was, this man. Now, let me explain you why the name Spooky2. Spooky2 is basically the comment when they asked Einstein about quantum entanglement. That's basically how remote work. He says was something really spooky, but he meant it like he didn't understand that. And year has passed, and right now there are some interesting experiments that show that quantum entanglement exists. They are using this to modify atoms or protons, and they change it, and they basically move themselves. And that's the basic principle of this and how it's working with us. Remote is just incredible. I just didn't believe it until I buy it. I use it. Uh, it doesn't matter where you are, remote will work. The only downside of remote is very gentle. So in order to remote to do something in your body, you need to wait a little or have several remotes. Usually some of the biggest mistake that anybody do when they buy a remote is they buy just one remote, and they think that just with one remote you can do everything. That's not correct. Remote has several issues, rules, no issues, several rules. One of the rules you can find is that you should not pass more than 4 hours of a program in remote. That's basically the biggest downside of remote. So you ended up having several remotes in order to have a treatment working in remote. Let me see some Q&As here. What about using baby teeth for my child? No, I don't suggest that. Go for the nail. Please don't try to make the round again. It's already there, the wheel. So don't make the wheel again. Just the nails. That's the way it works very easily, and that's fine. When I run the remote, how many rounds do I need to run before it's done? That's a very specific question. There is no answer, no correct answer at that, until you feel okay, until the disease is gone, until you achieve your commitment. This will not work as a pill, like you need to take for 3 days, every 8 hours, will not work like that. Each body is different. The response for each body to the treatment is different. So you need to use it until you feel okay. Now, how do you know if frequency increases or decreases something in the body? For example, histamine. You need to go to check yourself. Okay, this is important because I know we are talking in a world that's outside of the regular medicine world. But sometimes we require to do exams or require to be diagnosed, a correct diagnosis of what we are having. So remember that Spooky2 is a solution for the problem, but you need to understand the problem and you need to check it out. You cannot rely on Spooky2 because Spooky2 is not made for that. Spooky2 is not made for giving you a diagnosis, check yourself. That's not the main part of Spooky2. So we need to be clear on what kind of machines are we using. Then it says, how do we know with women who are wearing fingernail polish in the DNA? Well, the fingernail polish has no DNA there and has no living structures on it. So you can use a fingernail with polish and nothing will happen because there's nothing living there, unless the fingernail, of course. When using hunt and kill, it repeats the hits over and over. Should the number of drops below 10 eventually? Could I drop to zero eventually? Yes, you can, but basically what you're going to hit is the more loudest virus or bacteria you're having. I'm new to this, says Craig, and trying to understand the use of multiple generators. Do people get extra generators to work with multiple issues on their own body? Or are there extra generators for treating friends and family and pets? I just explained it, Craig. When you have multiple generators, because you are attacking a problem from multiple angles, usually you need to kill some pathogens and then to heal the body or to help to get along with the Herx-Jaime reaction. So one single generator will not be enough. And because of also the time you can do a treatment in remote, that's up to 4 hours, you maybe need 3 or 4 generators or maybe 5 generators to treat a single person because you want to help her to detox, get rid of the toxins, and have the treatment as it should be. Then says, if we can use multiple generators for ourselves, if there is a danger, no, there is no danger. There is no conflict with them. There is no limit. Okay. Monica got. What's remote version 1.1 MN where I can find the link to learn to set up the run is repeating 4 hour less than loop. Okay, let me read again. What's remote version 1.1 MN where I can find the link to learn the setup on run this repeating for 4 hours Let's loop. Okay. When you are making a program, you put how many hours you put it on the program. And then I will show it in a second with the Spooky2 software. You can set how many times it's going to repeat. 0 is the value for repeating continuously all the time. Sorry. Then says, I'm working on a ligament that's causing trouble to my knee. Some minor swelling been going for the last 8 months. How do I choose the right inflammation program for the instance on a right program? And there's a lot to choose. You can need to try them, Jane. That's what I was talking before. Some frequencies work for some persons, some doesn't. So you need to start trying all and see what's working for you. This is not a closed number. It's basically an open number, and that's what's also the biofeedback works. That's basically what I can tell you. Why is limited to 4 hours? Because you need to repeat it 6 times a day to work. Is there any advantage of using GenX or the Pro with the central scalar rather than the GenXM? Yes, GenX and GenPro are way more accurate when they define the frequency. The more accurate you get the frequency, the best treatment you get. Basically, as simple as that. Also, the range of the frequencies they can manage is way more bigger. Craig, I didn't catch the limitation on how long to use the remote. You can use it for 4 hours because you need to repeat it 6 times a day at the most. I'm having trouble with histamine issues since using Spooky2. Is this normal? What does that mean? What do I do about it? Well, that's a very open question. I'm not able to answer that, but I don't know if it has to be related with the Spooky2 or not, but it can be. So I have no answer for that because I don't know your case, Lindy. Okay, so let me continue with this. Now, something important. We talk a lot about frequencies, but do you really know what's a frequency? For example, a frequency is something as an event that's being repeated over some period of time. For example, I'm doing webinars once a month. So the frequency of my webinars is 1 each 30 days, or 1 each 1 month, or 12 per year. Okay, that's the frequency. So when we're talking frequencies, we're talking about some event that's going to be repeatedly or constantly doing over some period of time. For example, a frequency here has 2 parts, an upper part and a lower part. Here is 1 cycle. And since this is being done in just 1 second, then this will be number 1. If you repeat this cycle 2 times over 1 second of time, then you will have 2 hertz. Okay? If you repeat 10 times in 1 cycle in 1 second, then you will have 10 hertz. 100 times, 100 hertz. That's basically what we're talking when we talk about frequencies. Now here's something that you can see. So here's 1 cycle, 2 cycles, and 3 cycles in 1 second. So we are calling this a 3 hertz frequency. You have a positive part and a negative part. And this is a sine wave, the easiest of all the waves. Okay? So far, so good? Perfect. It says, don't have the Spooky2. Are you going to show one and explain how to set it up? No, that's not part of this webinar. We're going for question and answers of previous webinar and just a overall explanation. I heard that you can load several programs to run. If, for instance, run vision empowerment and immune system balance as healing on remote on 1 generators of the X Pro, do I have to stop it after a few hours or continue the next day, or just run, let's say, 2 weeks or so, like terrain? When you start the program on remote, you need to leave it run until you feel the change. Basically, your body is going to show you when to stop, okay? It's not like just do it once or twice. No, that does not happen here. Um, that's basically how it works. But you will see a little more because I have a lot of Q&As that I'm going to answer. Then why does the remote light on some programs light different? That has nothing to do with the equipment working or not working. The remote lights will blink depending on the frequency. The faster the frequency, the less they can blink because the frequency is so fast that the remote cannot catch it up. But that doesn't mean anything. Basically, the lights are just a signal to show you it's working or not. But in lots of programs, and I say lots of programs that are related to Spooky2, you will not see the lights blinking. Okay. I run a biofeedback, scan on painful area. Do I get the frequency that my body needs to heal that area? Is there more effective to choose a program data? Yes. When you run a biofeedback, that's the best you can do because that's all the specific frequencies for your body. But I explained before, that does not mean that are the frequencies you want. You usually will have some frequencies related to the area you are putting the biofeedback. For example, you have a shoulder injury and you put the pads in the upper part and back part of your shoulder, chances are you're getting frequencies for your shoulder. But if you have another problem that's bigger than the shoulder, what's causing your body more stress, chances are you're getting frequencies for those also. But however, the biofeedback is the more accurate frequencies you can get for your body. That says, if you want to run the hormones that doctor wants to give you to treat cancer, and I have found these hormones in the Spooky program, do I need to run this under heal or kill? Okay, I will get that in a second. Please remember that, Holly, Allen. Yes, you can run them in the computer. You can run them in the Spooky software. And basically what you're going to run is not a heal or kill. You're going to run something called molecular weight if you are talking about a drug that the doctor give you, like hormones, okay? If that has an MW value, you will going to run a molecular weight in order to run them in the Spooky machine. What's the data associated with the process? Depends the process. Please explain the 4-hour usage. I told you before, you cannot use the remote more than 4 hours because you need to repeat the program at least 6 times a day in order to remote to be useful for you. After running the terrain protocol, is there a recommended second one to run for most people, or should I just do the biofeedback? You should go for the biofeedback straight. That will be all. Well, I have run terrain mercury for about 5 months without breaks. It's helping me. So I have no understanding of this 4-hour limit. No, Robert, you are talking about apples and oranges. That's nothing to do. The terrain protocol is a protocol designed for remote. When you are running programs and you made your programs, you should not go for more than 4 hours. Why? Because you need to repeat the program at least 6 times during a day in order to the program to have the most effectiveness in your body. If you don't do that, remember, remote will only be giving you around 20 or 30% that the energy of a plasma machine. So you need to compensate that with time. The more time you use it, the better, that's for sure, until you feel great. Okay. Says, I have a squamous cell cancer on my forehead at the hairline. It's safe to use plasma treat for this? Yes, plasma will be the safest actually treatment for this. Do you know anyone who has treated Parkinson and what's delivery is the best? I have plasma and I will be the best. No, for Parkinson, actually, what I did, and it worked really good, you can buy Spooky2 gloves, for example, and put the gloves in the hand of the people that's having Parkinson. Then you are going to put all the frequencies of Parkinson that you can find in the machine, made a program, sit with the person, and be reading what frequencies delivered to the person and see the shaking. If the tremor goes lower, then you're going to put that frequency in a piece of paper, and you're going to put that to see what frequencies are good for her or not. After that, then you can make your own program with the frequencies to help her lower the temperature. I will suggest to have a Hiawea with the gloves for having the treatment the most of the time. That will be great. Okay, so let me continue. Now we're going to the length of the waves. So basically, the bigger the wave is the less dangerous. For example, you have radio, microwaves, infrared. This is just a small spectrum that's visible, ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. So the smaller the length of the frequency, the more harmful can be for the frequency. We are just at the lower right of the tip. So there is no chance we can get harmed here. Says, I don't understand for hours. 6 says a day. You need to repeat the program 6 times a day. 6 times for 4 hours is 24 hours. Then you can repeat the program 6 times a day at least. Now, this is something people get a little trouble, killing or healing. Basically, you need to understand this. You are using frequencies. The frequency can kill or can heal. So in my understanding of the way I like to explain this, this is just something to understand what the frequency is trying to do. Basically, what's not being killed is being healed, as simple as that. So if you want to treat cancer, then you need to kill the cancer cells, but also you will need frequencies for detox. In detox, you are not killing anything, you are healing the body. As simple as that, okay? So there are also some frequencies, some programs, sorry, that will work for anything you can do. I'm gonna show you my Spooky2 software here. Please tell me if you are seeing my Spooky2 software in the chat. Okay, perfect. The best way to avoid this problem of killing and healing is very, very simple. When you're making a program, go to shell empty presets. If you're going in contact, you will run universal square H bomb. This will work for anything. Simple as that. If you go to plasma, you will go for spooky plasma, entrainment, and healing. This will work for anything. If you go to remote, you will go for universal square H bomb R. This will work for anything. And for the person that's going to ask me or was asking me, in order to use drugs, I mean, non-physical drugs, but frequency drugs, you will use the MW emulate. That's the frequency you're going to use to emulate the drug from the Spooky2 database in your body. Okay, as simply as that. In that way, forget about killing and healing. It's very simple. Use those shells and you will have no issues. Okay, herpes, you need to be killing. You're killing a bacteria. Sorry, herpes, I don't remember it's bacteria or virus, but you are killing. You're killing, okay? Now let me continue with the presentation. Back. Now, you have several ways of deliver a frequency. In the other webinar, I explained this like something really easy. Imagine you have let me put this as simple as possible. Okay, imagine you go to supermarket, okay, to Walmart store. And the frequencies is just the food. Basically, it's just the whatever you want, the fruits, okay? Is the way you're going to carry the frequencies. What's going to be the modes of transmissions. Sometimes if you have a lot of fruits, you will pick up a car and you will have these cars, these supermarket cars, in order to put all the fruit inside. That will be, let's talk plasma, okay? The strongest one. But sometimes you need just smaller fruits. So you pick a smaller car, the one that's with the lower basket, and you can pull it up like a trolley. That will be, let's put another example, that will be maybe compact, okay? Because something smaller, less strong. Sometimes you will end up something with the carry-on. Just a carry-on bag, and you enter to the grocery stores and put the fruits there. Then that will be a remote, for example. So if you get this example, you'll understand the frequencies are the programs, and you are just finding out the way to deliver that frequency to the people. Okay, so contact, plasma, remote, coil, audio, cold laser, electrodes, scalar, that's just a different way to deliver that frequency to the body. Some of these are just better than other ones because they were designed in that way. For example, in my opinion, for delivering a frequency drug to your body, I love to do it in contact mode. I don't like to do it in plasma. I love to go for that in contact. For example, something that's going to last a long time, I go for remote. If I'm going to try to kill a pathogen during the night, I will go for plasma. So that's the main difference. If I go to sleep good in night, I will go for scalar. Now, what you're seeing here is the Spooky2 tree. Basically, just to understand what's going on. So there's a Spooky2 software that's free. You will have here Spooky Pulse. You have the generators here, XM, GenX Pro. You have the Spooky Boost, and you will see down what you can add to the generators: PMF, cold laser, contact, or remote. Then you have another Spooky2 here that will be Scalar that you can use without or with the generator. I use it normally without generator. I love it. I just put it in my house when I'm sleeping, and it works just really, really good. And then you have here the central. In the central, you can put the plasma, the ultrasonic, the contact, and the PMF. That's basically how this is going to work. Since we are talking about the way to deliver frequencies, then now you can understand how to deliver. You need a generator XM or generator X Pro, and then you need a Spooky2 boost, and then you can add something like the PMF, cold laser, contact, or remote. Then you have another option, that's a scalar, and you can use scalar with or without the generate GenX Pro. And then you have the central, which you can use with a generator XM or GenX Pro, and then you need to add the plasma, ultrasonic, contact, or PNF. Okay, please tell me if so far so good in the chat, and let me see more questions. How about for the Lord with major food allergies and eczema? Spooky recommends to treat any kid after 8 or 9 years. That's the best way to do it. If you want to try it on your own, you are allowed to sue. I have done it on my kids. I'm not suggesting do it on yours, but I've done it on mine that are not small for years, but they were 6 and 9 at the time, and it worked. So it's your responsibility. I have done it in the past for me. It worked for me. This is not the company advice, and it's not mine also. I'm just telling you my experience. Okay. How long can we sleep in Scalar? As much as you do. I've been doing that for 2.5 years, no issues. This recording is going to be sent. Yes, it's going to be sent. Don't worry. When you use cold, do you use any special preset? Yes, there's a lot of presets that you can use for cold. A lot of them. When you use cold laser, do you need a special preset? Oh, okay. Cold laser. Yes, there are also presets for cold laser. You will see them. And no, Holly, I told you, if they are putting you hormones, and the hormones are via frequencies, like drugs, then you need to use the molecular weight. If you don't see that, and it's just a regular program, then you go with the shell I told you before, the one of entrainment and healing, or the other ones I told you before. Now let me continue. So this is a small slide of the plasma, what you can buy. I suggest buying with the Phanatron. This is just a plasma brochure, so you can see it. Here's when a generator exam. If you're on a budget, generator exam will work with the plasma. It's just a great thing. You can do it. Now, this is a slide of remotes. You cannot have enough remotes. I have a lot of them, maybe 100 remotes in my clinics. In my house, I have like 15 remotes. They work really great. I love remotes. Electrodes, I also love them. I use them a lot with the biofeedback. That's basically my main weapon. I go biofeedback and usually remotes, or biofeedback and plasma. This is the equipment you can have with the Generator X or the X Pro, with the sample digitizer or the paths for the normal biofeedback. And now we're going to enter to this part of the Q&A, which I have a lot of Q&A. Let me put my glasses because I have here my cheat sheet here with some answers that are not so easy to have. And let me go for more answers. Put the questions in a queue, but I don't think you are seeing it. Okay, TR, let me go for the TR. Where are you? Where are you? Can you repeat it, please? Maybe I just went through. So let me see these questions that we were missing. If using Celtral, does the small switch when the beam's off and when it's off contact, beam is off? Simple question. Yes, you're right. You can just turn it on and off. That's simple as that. How long can I use DNA snails if I have 2 months now? I told that before, Leo, you can use them even for years. So there is no issue. The fresh they are, the better, but sometimes you cannot have new, so you can use them, no problems. Andrea, hello. If we do a blood analysis on a computer, how do we save the program for another Spooky owner to run it? Basically, it's a TXT file. You just go to the biofeedback folder, you just copy it and paste it wherever you want. As simple as that. I do a biofeedback with GenX and run results on a remote kill JW, but there's a way to do kill here at the same time. Yes, you can do it. You just need 2 remotes, and that's all. Michael Fassar, if there's a molecular weight available for the ETA software, I can find it. I have a difficulty to locating it. Okay, Michael, just go to Spooky2, type on Google, Spooky2 MW, and you will see a very good video that shows you how you can create even your own molecular weights when there's something that's not being found on the Spooky2 database. Now, for the biofeedbacks on GX, do you use booster or the blood sample and the contact electrode? Spooky2 recommends you to do the biofeedback without the booster. Okay, it's possible to sleep overnight with Scalar. Yes, I've been doing that for 2.5 years. Works perfect. And now here, I find that some programs interfere with my sleep in remote. If there is any problem, we'll turn it overnight. No, you can turn it overnight with no issues. Is the pin power coming out of Spooky2 Boost as powerful as Spooky2 Central? Oh, that's a question that maybe someone can help us from Spooky2. I don't know that. My wife will not use the teens units because what will permit the remote. Can she treat her cancer with this way? Yes, you can, but I will go for plasma, being honest. There is only one Spooky2 PMF coil. The PMF coil used with the Spooky generator to run the Spooky2 PMF mode and the PMF code connected with the central unit are the same PMF coil. Yes, they are the same. PMF call can be connected to the high power port on the boost and run the PF mode with an iterator directly, but an adapter is needed to connect the PMF call to central unit. I believe they give you the adapter when you buy the central. At least mine has the adapter as soon as you buy it. Can I use hair? I will not suggest hair. Just go for the nail. As simple as that. If you use remote mode, well, why not hair? Because you need to pull it out from the ball. You need the ball from the hair, not the hair by itself. You need the ball from the hair. You need to remove it from the hair. If you use remote mode, can you use your hair root? Basically, what I just told. Can I use the update Spooky software? It's really easy. Just download the newest version, install it, and it overwrites the previous version. No issues with that. Can you use the plasma with the Genix Pro? Of course you can. That's the way I use it. That's the best way to use it. Now, let me go from some Q&As of another people. I'm sure you're gonna love some of them. So let's see. Isn't Central better for hunt and kill than Scalar? Yes, I will recommend Central for hunt and kill more than Scalar, because Scalar is more for subtle problems and heals at cellular level. So it's more like healing software, okay? How do they found a specific frequency for related problem? Use the biofeedback. That will be the best way to do it. Use the biofeedback. When using the scalar modulation, how long you need to leave the glass of water and oil before the water is saturated with essential oil frequencies? When you're doing that, sometimes 3 minutes will be enough for a glass of water. If you're having a jar, then you will need something around 10 minutes. What's the difference between sequence and chains? Well, a sequence is just a bunch of programs together, and a chain is just a bunch of sequence together. Then, what's the best way to treat inguinal hernia, scalar remote contact? I have a patient that went to my clinic with a hernia, and we worked with contact and plasma, and it worked really good. Okay. Which method of contact produces the best transmission, bars, TeamSpat, or wristbands? I will go for the TeamSpat. Which method of contact produces the best transmission? Sorry, can the TeamPads go inside the wrist? Yes, they can, as long as you put it one here and one here, okay? So yes, you can put it there. Now says, when using contact treatment, how long do you need to stay put? Example, half an hour max? Yes, I will suggest for an hour and no more than 2 times a day. If your program lasts longer, yes, you can do it, but instead of doing 2 times a day, just do it 1 time a day. Can I use contact on a dog, and how it will touch the pads? Yes, you can use contact with a dog. Give me a second, please. Sorry. Yes, you can use the contact with a dog. However, what you need to do is to trim their hair, so you can put the contact touching the skin of the dog, of course, not the hair. Okay. Let me go with my Q&A here. Okay. Let's can I use no, sorry, where's here? Okay, so for lung cancer, would you put tins on front and back of the body, of each side of the body? I will go for the tins on the back of the body. That will be the best for the biofeedback. Why don't the remote sweeps load into the GX Pro? Because the sweep is a limitation for the GX, because when you put a bunch of programs, basically you are defining the frequencies you are going to run in the remote, sorry, in the GX Pro. But when you put these sweeps, the computer has to go incremental one by one, according to your settings. That's why sweeps will not work on the GX in offline mode. Which one is the most effective mode when I want to run a contact overnight? Should I run scan and run, preset, or the other ones? It depends. In my personal opinion, I like more scan and run than hunt and kill, because hunt and kill we go for the same analysis, and scan and run will not do that. Scan and run will do a new analysis each time. So for me, scan and run is basically the best. If we can put it another way, scan and run will be scan, run, and that will continue a loop. Hunt and kill will be scan, run, refine the data, and then again, run, define, run, redefine, run, redefine. So hunt and kill will go with the same results you have in the best way. Can I use a Scalar and Plasma at the same time? Of course you can. There is no problem with it. I've been doing that and no issues. I'm still on terrain protocol now after 11 days. What's the next step? Go to your program and try to address your illness or the program you want to achieve. Do you have experience with adults with autism? No, but I have with kids, and Scalar is just wonderful with them. It works really good. What is the best difference between biofeedback, scan and hunt, and kill? Basically, scan and hunt and kill are just the automation of a biofeedback and then using the plasma. You are just going one step easier to do the same stuff. You can do biofeedback, then save your results and go for the kill, and that will do the same. Can you use Spooky2 for thyroid issues? Yes, and it works really good. How long for cataract cure? Well, this is very important. You don't have a preset time. It depends on your body. Can you treat Lyme and co-infections remotely? Yes, you can. Remotes can do anything. Have you used a wrong frequency? Can you produce damage? No, because what I stated before at the very beginning of this presentation, we are not having a strong enough frequency to damage your body. We are not in that. How to use reverse lookup is very simple. Reverse lookup, remember, is not a way to diagnose any kind of illness. It's a way to just look for a frequency that's been shown there. If you have a previous diagnosis, then you can use reverse lookup to confirm that the frequencies you are using, it worked for that diagnosis. Then it says, when loading terrain on GenX Pro, do you change the sequence to run manually and then stop? Go to the second program after 24 hours? You can do it that way if you want, or you can auto-program it. Can you elaborate on what can be detected by biofeedback? I heard about pathogens. A presenter did say once that heavy metals. Anything else? Yes, remember, when you do biofeedback, you will find frequencies. Don't think about pathogens, about metals. You will think about frequencies. The biofeedback is looking for frequencies your body needs. It's safe to use two contact treatments at the same time on the same generator? No, it's not. You should never use two contact treatments at the same time in your body. Please don't do that. Can you treat someone with a pacemaker, with Scalar or another device or remote? Yes, you can treat actually with remote, plasma, or Scalar. Please show how to run home pests like fleas or mold, or how do you do this at home if there is no fingernails for the house, so how it's done. Let me see here because I have it here on my sheet. Okay. Okay. The answer for that, okay, here it says. Use a knife to scrape some of the mold into a pile onto the sticky side of the sticky paper or masking tape and insert it without folding the tape as to give a mold enough air. The mold sweep is normally run non-stop for 10 to 14 days. Try to use up to 4 generators evenly spaced and in time to do a mold sweep. That should hit the more of the mold. Remember, the more is the frequency that's going to kill the mold up to 4 times each pass instead of just once. Basically, that's a way to treat mold. Okay. Then should you use remotes only if there's a heart and eye problems? No, remotes is for everything and it works specifically very good in heart problems or eyes, but you can use it in anything you want. It's the most gentle treatment you can find. When you put a flea which has been feeding on your pet inside the remote, can it be harmful for your pet? No, don't worry. If we run these frequencies, will it interfere with the Wi-Fi? No, the Wi-Fi is in another range of frequencies, so you will not have any issues. Then we have what's the cold laser used for? You can use for bone regenerator, carpal tunnel syndrome, dental pain, elbow disorders, fibromyalgia, herpes, knee osteoporosis, arthritis, lymphedema, myofascial and pain syndrome, neurological dysfunction, pain relief, physical therapy, recurring aptus stomatitis, rheumatoid arthritis, shoulder impingement, tinnitus, for example. So there's a lot of good uses for the cold. Can the cold laser be used over or near your heart? Yes, you can. Does PMF work best with the lowest frequencies, or can I pick any problem? You can pick any problem. How far from the eye should be the laser? Just be cautious. Don't put your laser cold, very close to your eyes. If you feel you're getting too much light, just get out of there. Can you change the setting while the generator program is running? No, you cannot. Can I ask about the scalar engine here? While using, we are not supposed to have any metals nearby. No, you can have metal, no issues. What about jewelry? You can have your jewelry, no problem. Can a person use a fold? Yes, you can use it, but the less you use it, the better, but yes, you can. Do you start with the rain also with a dog? Also, if so, program with it heartworms in dogs? Yes, you can do terrain on animals also. Can a toenail can be used as DNA sample? Yes, you can. The lights on one of my 2 Gen X have stopped working. The frequencies are still running on the generator and the cold tab. Is remote still transmitting? Yes, it's transmitting. Do multiple generators running different programs interfere with each other? No, they are not going to interfere with each other. Do you have a tutorial about imprinting stickers? Yes, I will put a link for it in the next presentations. You will see it. Now, what does this mean, generator error, when the computing is showing up? Sometimes, because of the frequencies you're running, the USB port can be not very accurate and will bring the generator error. The most common part is when the 3 minutes of those frequencies has passed and changed the frequency, the generator error program will disappear. If that doesn't happen, just restart the program or unplug and plug in a different USB your generator X. What is the use of the amplitude and frequency wobble? I will show that in a second. But basically, some pathogens tend to morph. When they morph, imagine this, you are using a plus minus X amount of frequencies just to hit them in the case they morph. As simple as that. The question was about the difference in terrain protocol between the use remote, contact, and scalar for delivery, not in the signal. What you are doing, basically you are changing the delivery way, but the program is the same, so there is no difference at all, just the way you are using the programs. I have a child 3 years old that still breastfeeds. Is terrain protocol safe in that case? Same answer. I will not go for childs under 8 or 9 years old, but you can try it, it's your responsibility. The chat is wondering the difference between detox and terrain. Well, in terrain, you will find detox programs, and terrains contain more than that. Can you mix animal with human? No, don't do that, please. How you put a program in loop, for example, for 24 hours. I will show that in a second, or let me just go for that because that's been asked a couple times before. So you're seeing my screen. If you have a program, imagine a remote program, and I want to repeat it for several times, I use here, repeat sequence, change this value to 0, or chain, have these 2 in 0, and that will loop them. As simple as that. What about to let 2 red lights that stay on and on all the time and stand alone when the toxin? That means the frequencies are very low frequencies and the LEDs are blinking all the time, but no issues also. Can run hertz in the same time with terrain? Yes, you can. If you have another remote, that will be very, very beneficial for you. When running the cold laser for a root canal, do you place them inside the mouth next to the infected tooth? Yes, that's the way to do it. Can you run terrain with it being hooked on the computer and not stand alone? Yes, you can do that. If you do in the offline mode, there is also a webinar that I made explaining that if you want to see it. It is safe to do remote or contact therapies when pregnant. I will not do it. Can we use remote and Scalar running together on the same person doing different treatments? Yes, you can. You can receive different treatments with Spooky at the same time and no issues. My husband is being diagnosed with gallstone and the doctor says, of course, there are no natural remedies for that. With any advice? Yes, you can use plasma and I have correct several of them in my clinic, or contact, and they do work very good. So be sure if you put contact near the gallstones. After Scalar biofeedback and reverse lookup, is treatment only done by a remote or can treatment also be done with Scalar? Yes, you can do it by Scalar or remote or plasma, whatever you wish. Do you have to remote the top of the essential oil bottle because the frequency can diminish left open? No, you just put any essential oil on the Scalar, close it, the lid, and just put it there. And that's basically how it works. You don't need to open the bottle. What happens if someone with the sticker that you remote? No, clean it, get out of the sticker, and try to be yourself only in remote. If you can afford the center of plasma from what you knew or have heard in contact, can contact, remote, and Scalar still work? Yes, they can work. And even for cancer, yes, they can. Where do you place the genes for ovarian cancer? In your groin. How do you use the digitizer for target cancer better? What I did is to have a biopsy, put it on the digitizer, and run a scan. I read that you should never place the genes pad near your heart. So where do you put pads for the left breast cancer, which is right beneath your heart? Yes, you can put it on your breast. We'll not have any issues there. The Scalar tuning, I found the first high very high, but good, and the second was hard to find. If I turn too far, it gives that effect. Or do I need to turn until the night is off? When you are tuning the Scalar, go for the first light, not the second one. Go for the first. As soon as you see it very bright, stop there. Can you have multiple remote generators running different programs and transmitting different frequencies at the same time? Yes, you can. What accessories would I add to the Genix Pro for a multi in a house or a van, plasma and remote? I did sample the Tacher Scalar biofeedback. If I run these hits and contact, it's okay for use universal HF bomb? Yes, it's fine to do that. Can you suggest cancer presets for a breast cancer? Well, what I just suggest basically is to go for the BX and the BY frequencies, if sarcoma or carcinoma, when you have cancer, and try to hit it with all the frequencies and do all the biofeedbacks you can. That's the best way to treat cancer. I did not hear a signal when the biofeedback was finished. Do I need to check something? No, that's fine. And that's basically all the Q&A I have, plus the ones you have here. So let me go for it. For biofeedbacks, okay, no, okay, let me go. Can I use DH frequencies without being next to the generator? Thank you. Yes, if you have a remote, you can do it. How often do you have to run a frequency fatigue on patients? There is no straight answer for that. Until they start feeling okay, that will be the best answer. Can you use name? No, this is not Radionics, although there is a part of Radionics of Spooky2, but here is no Radionics. You need to have a witness sample that will be a nail. Looks like I need to reframe your questions. Okay, yes, please. Are there Spooky2 practitioners that you recommend? Well, I'm one of them. And yes, you can find it on the Spooky2 Academy. You can see the practitioners there. Now, what's the recommended time to run a sequence of random symptoms? Can it be longer than 4 hours using remote? Yes, can be longer, but it's not going to be the way it should be. If you have something bigger, then you need to buy another generator and do remotes for 4 hours. I mean, if you are like 4 hours and 50 minutes, yes, you're okay. But if you are 5 hours, then I will go for another generator. If you run biofeedback and it comes back with 20 hits frequency, but only one has reverse lookup, what does this mean? Nothing. Remember, reverse lookup is not a diagnostic tool. They are just the frequencies you need. I have my generators and a central on a moving cart, so I can move it from room to room. Do I have to back up battery on my source protector? I will suggest that, yes. When I unplug the move card, my X-in reboot because you need to disconnect it and put it back, of course. But the X Pro completely shut off and I have to rescan devices. Any solution for this? You can put a UPS there. That will be the easy solution. Do you recommend running that prior Rife Scalar well or just Plasma remote? You can use the three, no issues. They are not one or another. Okay. Then if you run a program for longer time and do not loop it for 24 hours power period, it's still working. Okay, if we're talking about remote, yes, it's going to work. But remember, you're only using around 20% of the efficiency of the frequency. So you need to compensate that by running that program several times. That's the issue. Now, let me go to this part. Can I use more than one person DNA in the remote at the same time? It's not the best way to do it, but yes, you can. María de Los Ángeles, ¿haces entrenamiento en español? Sí, sí lo hago. Now, what else here? What's the best way to treat nail fungal? You can buy Spooky2 colloidal silver, and colloidal silver works great with nail fungals. Now, for the scalar, I told you, when you tune, go for the first light, not the second light. I'm using molecular weights to run muscular spasticity, which is this the correct weight? I don't know. Give me a second. I will check it. Okay, I will check it. Molecular weight, remember, is for using frequencies for drugs and using those drugs being electronically. If it's not a drug, then molecular weight is not the way to use it. Okay, if you are going for a program to treat muscle spasticity, then you need a frequency, a program for that, but not the molecular weight. Use the one I showed before in this webinar. That will do the trick. Okay. About the cathode treatment, it depends on everybody's body. Do you just run up until you see improvement? Yes, and that's basically in everything. You run it up until you see it's working. For the remote mode, how many days, weeks, or months to cure 1-year-old cervical cancer? I cannot have an answer for that. I would love to have an answer, and I will, believe me, I will truly, my heart will give everything to have the answer for that. There is no way to know it. I want to run cancer program, contact +4 on generator 1. Can I use contact or remote depending on the day and night? If I want to switch remote to contact, do I just disconnect remote for the boost to connect wherever I want for contact? Yes, basically that's it. Hopefully you can buy another generator and leave running the cancer programs. Can you use the plasma with the Genix Pro? Yes, you can. Okay. One new message here. Okay. For the big toenail fungus, do you put it on remote? No. Well, you can put the fingernail in the remote or any of the fingers in your hand. That doesn't matter. You are not killing the fungus via the fungus that's actually in the nail. You're killing it because your body is killing it, so you can change it. Okay. I use Gen X. Do I need to upgrade? It's not need to, but it's good. I love the Gen X Pro, so you can buy a Gen X Pro and it will do it way much better. Yes, frequencies are more exact. And which device is the best for treating diabetic neuropathy? Generator X, and I will go basically for plasma maybe or remote. Will that the best treat? I have both Scalar and Central in the same room to use simultaneously. Is that okay? Yes. But if I only use Central, I found the Scalar box while off, lights, red off a Scalar. When Central is being used, will they have the Scalar box? No, it will not. You need to just to retire little the Scalar box, and that will be the trick. Okay. So that's basically this presentation. You see there, contact me. You can contact me through my website. There will be a direct link to my cell phone via WhatsApp or via Facebook chat. So you can send me any Q&A you want to there also. I will be glad to help you or show you anything else. And if you have any other topic that you can contact me after this, I would love to be in touch with you guys. I'm doing my best. I know English is not my first language, but I'm trying to do my best, believe me. Hopefully there will be one in Spanish and there I can be the best of the best, but so far so good. If you have any other questions that you want to say with me right now, thank you for answering. I've been using names only for training remote with offenders. So family is working. No, Andrea. Oh, okay, this is a. Let me just finish with this question. Remote is a very small scalar field. Remote is meant to be used with a witness. Use nails. That will be the best. I will not go for names. That will be for Radionics. If you are into Radionics, look for Spooky2 Radionics. It has a wonderful machine. I love the man, but do that. Well, guys, thank you very much. I love all this I'm doing for you. Please think any other topic you can. Give us feedback, post it, share it. See this webinar 2 or 3 times. And anything you need, you can get me to my website. It's here again. And for all these patients with cancers, I wish you the best of the best. Do whatever you can. Please reach me to this to my site if you have any questions further that cannot be answered in this webinar because of your illness. I will try to do my best, and I specialize in cancer, and I'm here for you guys. Okay? Thank you for everything. I'm gonna close this and see you later.